Hey guys, what's going on, fellow Arcadians? I'm adding a game today to the game room. I'm actually moving some stuff around too, as you're getting ready to see. When I originally was building on and changing this, I made this wall here for 4 pins, and then 4 pins where these pins was at before. This is the wall that goes to here. But yeah, that was my original plan, was to put pins along this wall, and then the other 4 over there, which I had 8, but I ended up getting rid of some stuff. But what I'm actually wanting to share today is Tailgunner. I looked on YouTube and couldn't find anything on an upright Tailgunner. Found some gameplay in MAME, but not an original Tailgunner. It's a Cinematronics, sort of a rare game. Got a light going on back there, probably blind you guys. I shoot this stuff with my phone, so bear with me. Just going over it. Was looking at this earlier, I thought it was kind of funny. I guess in the 70s they thought that space, you was going to need a calculator. I thought that was kind of funny. They put them a little calculator over at the edge, I guess. It's wild back then, but yeah, this is about as original one as you're probably going to see around. Get a light here on the side so you can see some of the details of the artwork. She's got some nicks and bruises. You know, I've got a chip out there. If I can stay out of that other light. Got a chip out there, but I'm not even worried about that kind of stuff. This thing is almost bone stock, all original, untouched, other than a few things that maybe somebody else done in the past. But I like the way that blue lights up. It's just, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. It's almost like a fluorescent blue. Really, really wild. And gameplay, there's this outer plastic bezel is clear, and then it's got a blue insert that goes in behind it. It gives you the tinted effect on the black and white. Got some T-molding tore down there and a little bit over here on the edge, but like I said, I'm not sweating it. A lot of them that I've seen, the other 4 that I've actually seen, this in here is white. And I thought, well, maybe somebody's painted it at one time. But if they did, they done one hell of a job. And then I got to noticing here on the back door that the inside of it was also white, but it's black, covered by black. But I don't see anybody painting this, you know, not the inside. And it's just too smooth of a job. So I don't know what they had going on there or what was up, but maybe this one was black. I don't know. There's really not a whole lot to compare it with. Right here to the back, it still has the original pencil marking on the inside, which was super tricky to clean around. Because when I wiped down in here, you know, I didn't want to wipe none of that original stuff off. But I mean, like the cardboard, I did have to put a couple staples in up there. You can see it's shiny because it had, the center one was pulled out, and this over here was pulled out. But I didn't mess with that. It's in there. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, the monitor, I had some issues with it. I had to get hold of my buddy Jason's Arcade. Works, you guys know him. If you don't, get over there and see him. And he helps me answer a lot of questions I've got if I'm lost on something or of that nature. But I had the monitor working, but I had a pulse in it. Like it would fade in and out like a scrolling fade. And I went through this thing, and nobody, on forums or stuff like that, nobody really had a clue what was going on. And when I got this game, it was popping both breakers. So I thought, well, with Cinematronics, they're a little bit funny, and they can be real fussy if one thing's not in and the other's out. So I ended up unhooking everything, and had some issues over here on the soundboard and the PCB board, which at the time I knew the PCB was in trouble, but it ended up just being one 74 IC chip, and I got it lined out. But trying it without it popping a breaker with the monitor unplugged, it still had just a solid tone. It was crazy sound, just a bunch of static. So I didn't know that the game was playing blind. So I'm still tussling with the monitor. Well, come to find out, the pulse in the monitor, when they done the monitor for the Tailgunner, you can see this wiring harness here. These, I think it's 4 wires, 5 wires, 4 wires, go into this DAC right here, which hook into the soundboard down here, which in turn runs up and plugs in to the joystick. Okay, so I got frustrated with the monitor, and I was like, you know what, let's just put it in there and see what we got, because I know the PCB, game PCB is signaling properly now. So I hook it up, and I got perfect picture, other than the XY was off a little bit, which Jason kind of razzed me about that a little bit. But I still had the crazy sound, so then I was like, oh, the soundboard's bad. So there we go. Well, just inspecting over it, I got super lucky. The 74 LS 259, right below let me get you guys in here without getting you shaking around with my phone. That chip right there in that original socket was fried. I mean, it was just totally dead. I was like, well, don't have any, so we'll order some. Ordered it, put it in, and I had got my sound. But as you can see, somebody wrote here, no shield sound. So I've still got to trace that down, but that shouldn't be a problem. I shouldn't say that, but it shouldn't be a problem. That should be a pretty easy trace down on that. As far as inside the cabinet goes, I mean, this thing is in really good shape. And then I try to keep all my games about this clean on the inside, other than Two Tigers. You guys seen the inside of that thing. I'm not even gonna mess with it. The power supply, it was missing the 5 volts. The diodes were bad on it, and the 5-volt circuit, and the bottle cap up here was bad, which I believe is a 3055, 2N3055 if I'm not mistaken. Left the original capacitor stuff in there, not messing with any of that stuff. I try to keep stuff as bone stock original as possible. I documented all kinds of pictures with this thing, so all the bolts, the cables, everything. You can even see that I tried to wrap the cables right back around where the dust was at. I don't know, I'm kind of weird about that kind of stuff. I figure it's made it, if the thing's made it 30, 40 years, I'm not going to modify very much. Still got the original wax markings up here from the build. I mean, she's soft in spots. I've been hitting it with a little wood hardener, hardening things up, but I'm not touching it. Let's plug her up and show you guys what we got going on. Yeah, it always makes that little funky sound. Got good hot neck glow now. And this thing really doesn't capture the blue in the monitor. Shut this light off up here. If I can get her to focus. But yeah, I think that's just the neatest attract mode ever. That is like super cool. The starfield falls from you and then the tailgunner comes spinning, whipping right out at you. It's totally neat. Let me, I've got this thing set up for quarters. I'm gonna grab a couple quarters, set up a tripod and try to get some gameplay in for you guys. Be right back.